It's big dog season, and you can't stay still because you want it. Talk that talk, George. You still scraping your plate because you're hungry. Talk that talk.
This is a story about how easily a wrongful eviction can happen to Georgia families.
I just don't understand how the whole thing can happen. I really, really don't.
How the whole thing happened to homeowner Shelia Gibson in just one moment. But first, let's get all caught up on the trend of stolen homes. For nearly a year, Atlanta News First Investigates revealed the progression of property fraud across the metro, all connected to deed theft.
Right now, we're in a crisis.
Thieves stealing the titles to homes. Old Georgia law made it possible. Under that state policy to file or transfer a deed on a house, no identification was required. Simply put, the state did not require anyone to actually prove they own the very property they're filing paperwork on.
Sierra, honestly, I'm speechless. That's insane.
Here are some of the deed theft allegations we tracked.
Ultimately, we were credited for helping get a new state law passed, one that now requires proof for identification when filing deed paperwork. But since then, we've learned of a similar yet separate loophole when filing eviction paperwork. Turns out, no one has to prove they own the very property they're seeking an eviction on.
Okay, now you're all caught up. Sandy Springs' grandmother, Shelia Gibson.
It upsets me just to even talk about it. Because I feel so violated.
Violated because at any moment she feels she could be kicked out of her Sandy Springs house on Riverside Drive.
Although I'm not affluent, we kind of, did a lot of sacrificing to buy the house.
Real estate records show she's been the owner since 2020, paying
$480,000.
Okay.
She's the owner, yet when the 69-year-old pulled up to her driveway in December 2022, this sign was posted, scheduled to be evicted immediately by the Fulton County Marshal's Department. Magistrate court documents show deputies tried to execute the eviction once before in October too, but they were unable to gain access to the property. She has her faulty gate to thank.
Had it not been for that gate, we could have come home and all of our possessions would have been on the street.
The case, a complicated web of paperwork problems. The suspect, Michael James Bruff. Michael filed paperwork in the Fulton County Clerk's office claiming he was the agent of the Sandy Springs home, that the occupants had past due rent of $12,000. But remember, Shelia owns her house. She does not owe anyone rent, records confirm. What's more, the suspect even filed more paperwork alleging he'd previously served an initial eviction notice months earlier, claiming the defendant's failure to file answer in court should grant him possession of the property. Shelia says it's all untrue.
To me, it's so crazy how someone can just walk into an office, provide no identification. No one bothers to check on the computers that are in the office to make sure this person actually owns the home, if they have title. Nothing was done.
The alleged fake landlord was able to file all this paperwork without having to prove anything because state law does not explicitly require it when initially filing for evictions. As long as those initial documents are completely filled out, county clerks like Shay Alexander must accept it.
They e-file it, so it's an electronic process. They could be at their kitchen table.
Wow.
And they send it to us. We look to see if it's in proper form.
And so there's not even like identification, like they don't have to submit an ID?
Not at all.
They don't have to show a deed that they own the property?
Nothing.
It's the honor system, and the way it's all set up, there's no way for anyone to submit proof. Additionally, Georgia clerks cannot investigate eviction documents or interrogate anyone who's filing them either. Only later would a judge or jury decide the facts of a case. Although so much remains at stake, current law limits the clerk's role.
So you understand the weight of the reality of these situations?
I understand. I am the clerk of Superior Court. I manage all documents for Fulton County. So you're talking about It's not paper for me, it's people's lives.
After Sheila learned about the wrongful eviction proceeding against her family, she got Sandy Springs police involved.
Welcome to the zoo. Hey, good morning.
Officers filed the now criminal case as fraud, swindle, confidence game. Sheila then filed a civil suit against the suspect. The court ruled in her favor after suspect Michael James never responded.
For the property in Sandy Springs,
He did not respond to our attempts to reach him either. However, he's now appealing Sheila's civil court win. But why? It brings us back to that complex web. Public records suggest Michael James is possibly living in Fort Pierce, Florida, with the woman named Tabitha Coates. A previous 2009 unrelated civil suit identifies the pair as a couple. Fulton County public records reveal Tabitha once owned the Sandy Springs house in question. Michael also previously lived there. Back in 2018, the home was foreclosed and auctioned off after Tabitha failed to pay her mortgage loan. At that auction, an LLC won the highest bid, buying the home, then years later, selling it to Sheila. This case gets murkier. Sheila's attorneys allege in court filings that Tabitha went as far as recently forging a new deed, transferring the house's title back to herself. The problematic paperwork
It's taken a toll. I lost my hair.
not only disrupting Sheila's peace,
I don't sleep well. I'm anxious all the time.
but also exposing a loophole in the law.
This is like a criminal's paradise. If it's this is very easy what this guy's done.
Since we started our investigation, Sandy Springs police officially charged Michael James Broff with perjury, filing a false document, and forgery. They have not found or arrested him yet. Meanwhile, the Fulton Clerk's office confirms they are working on a property fraud task force in Metro Atlanta. To learn how to protect your house, text stolen home to 470-777-WANF. I'm Sierra Cummings, Atlanta News First Investigate.
Good morning. Today is Tuesday. It is May 28th, the year is 2024. It's a beautiful Tuesday morning. I'm sitting outside in the backyard. Son, the dogs are not here. I got to pick them up from the groomers today. Today is, yesterday was a holiday. I couldn't pick them up yesterday. That's a tragic story we just watched of a woman, what could have been a tragic story of a woman who almost lost her home to some unscrupulous thieves who tried to steal her house. Y'all, there's so many people who are going through these types of problems right now with these thieves and crooks out here trying to steal their homes. Steal your house. Be careful. Pay attention to what's going on with your mortgages, your deeds, your liens against your homes, or second mortgages that you may have had years ago. Pay attention to everything that's going on because there's a lot of crazy stuff going on out there right now. You got a lot of thieves and crooks out here trying to steal people's houses. In this case, they were able to track everything that took place with someone trying to file a fake eviction for a property they didn't even own. They tried to steal the deed. And can you imagine how this could have ended? This woman could have been evicted from her home. What if she wasn't there? What if the gate had been open and they got in there and did the eviction? All her possessions would have been lost. Y'all, you got some very unscrupulous people out here, and be very careful. But make sure you monitor your deed. There's a way you can lock your deed here in Georgia. And I need to get some more information on how to lock that up. How you can lock your deed so people cannot do this stuff, or you'll see and you'll get emails or letters saying something's going on with your deed to your property. There are some things that are in place here in Georgia now that can help prevent some of this stuff. But you got thieves and crooks. And this is happening in every state. I've seen it from California to Texas to Florida to Alabama, Mississippi, Georgia, Tennessee. All these states, these people are stealing houses, are trying to steal houses, are in some cases actually taking possession of the home and evicting the homeowner. Be careful out there, y'all. Pay attention to what's going on. Keep an eye on our elderly people who own homes. They particularly target these people who don't have who may not understand how to navigate through the system to correct these issues. If you had a second mortgage on your house that existed years ago, make sure you get that second mortgage released. Or I don't know why anybody in their right mind would have debt and not go through bankruptcy court. If you have debt that you owe and you owe money and you owed on a second mortgage or anything like that, go through you should have went through bankruptcy court and got all those debts discharged. There's a whole bunch of crazy shit going on these days. These people are going after these houses because they're worth so much money. And so they're either trying to steal them or do all kinds of crazy shit out there to get control of these homes and force real homeowners out and steal their property. Stealing a house, whoever, yes, it can be done. On a second note, a lot of people have asked me about, side note rather, about what I went through my dental process. So I'm going to do some videos and talk about the process that I went through getting these dental procedures done. For those who don't know, I had implants and I had I'm calling them caps, but they're not called caps. They're called I'm getting old. They're I didn't get veneers. I don't know, I just said it a second ago. They're dental crowns is what I got. I got crowns done. And the reason why I went with crowns because my teeth were in such disrepair that there really was no reason to my choice was either to remove the teeth and replace them with I could remove the teeth and have them replaced with implants. I decided to keep some of my teeth, and I did crowns on those two teeth, and so they were all match. I'm gonna do a video about that because experience and walk you through what I went through. A lot of people yesterday I had a house full of people came over here. I didn't realize the depth, how many people need dental work, and dental work is so expensive here in the United States. I don't know who's paying these outrageous prices, $87, $80, $60, $70, $80, $90, $100,000. This shit is high as hell. It just is ridiculous, and you have to take a chance and go somewhere overseas for a much cheaper price. Well, I still spent close to $15,000, or somewhere in that range, on airfare, food, transportation, cost, maybe more. I had to add it all up, and the dental procedure. So, but that still was a hell of a lot cheaper than what they were talking about here in the United States. So, I don't know what to say, but I'm going to do a video about that. I'm trying to get used to talking with these teeth in my mouth. It's getting kind of complicated. My mouth gets tired. So this will be a short video, but you all, please pay attention to what's going on around you if you own a home. If you get a letter in the mail from someone, if you get some type of documentation or something concerning your house, do not ignore it. If somebody says you have a second mortgage and you say I never had a second mortgage, you need to make sure that you get that second mortgage released if it was created fraudulently. People would fraudulently take out second mortgages on houses where you may not even have known. They forward your mail to a different address and do all kinds of crazy shit. Keep an eye on your deeds. There is a way to put a lock on your deed, or you can know anything going on in your deed in your homes. All states are using these services now. Be very careful. It's almost like you need to have your home put into an LLC as some type of, not an LLC, but as some type of estate to protect it from people who are doing all this unscrupulous thieving and stealing out here. I was trying to find this other story about a woman who had a zombie mortgage that reappeared, and I'm trying to see if I can find it. I'm sticking in this video. There's a zombie mortgage. She had an old second mortgage that reappeared, and they actually foreclosed on her house, and they're trying to evict her out the house, and so she's fighting to keep her home. And here's the crazy part: the second mortgage, the person who bought the mortgage only paid about a couple of dollars for it, and now they're about to reap hundreds of thousands of dollars in equity out when they took the house from her. Now that they foreclosed on it, and they only paid a couple of dollars for the second mortgage, and now they're about to re-foreclose on it. They might walk with the house is worth about $1 million. Y'all pay attention out here. These people are unscrupulous. You got a bunch of thieves and crooks out here, and you have got to stay on top of this stuff. Luckily, this one was able to get Sandy Springs police involved in this particular news story. Get the police involved, and they were able to find out, trace what happened to her deed, and how the previous owner who lost the house to foreclosure was trying to retrieve the house back and get a bunch of false documentation. And hopefully they will lock her ass up. You know, you got some, we have to be so careful out here. My goodness, this is ridiculous. And every time I see these news reports of somebody elderly or older, there's another story of a man in Lithonia. I think I can't find that news report. They're trying to put him out his house. They do the same bull crap. Still, but in this case, they've created a fake second mortgage on this house. I've had a lot of people who have been having issues with these houses, with these issues and stuff. Be very careful, pay attention, and just pay attention. If you own a home, be careful. It's going to be a short video because I have a whole bunch of stuff I need to do, but I will be back later to do a video about discussing what I went through with this dental process. My mouth is still weird, feeling it's getting back to normal somewhat. I'm back eating normally for the most part. It's going to take some time. Today is Tuesday, May 28th. I'll be back later. Year 2024. I'm out, and keep an eye on these houses. Be very careful. Pay attention to any mail that comes to your house. If you owe anybody any money and you have financial issues, go through bankruptcy and get this stuff discharged. In regards to these second zombie mortgages that are reappearing out here, it's ridiculous what these people are doing. You got this, the American way is, something wrong, something going on here that don't make sense, the way they're stealing people's houses. Keep an eye on everything you get in the mail. Pay attention to any debt that you owe anybody, whether it's your debt or not. Even if it's not your debt, make sure you get it discharged. Make sure you get documentation and document everything. There's an app where you can record every phone conversation you have with people. And I'm going to put that, it's called, what's the name of that damn app? There's an app that you can put on your phone called, and it records all your conversations. And it gives you the times and dates. It is not expensive. I have it on my phone. Let's see. Spoof card. And spoof card allows you to call someone and it records your digital conversation. So when you're talking to bill collectors and debt collectors and all these other people, are these thieves and crooks, record the entire conversation. There are a whole lot of apps where you can record the phone conversation. Keep that documentation when dealing with these people, and you just be careful. That's all we can do, y'all. But today is Tuesday, May 28th, the year is 2024. I'm out of here, and I'm going to come back later and talk about my dental experience. I'm going to do some videos about that because I think a lot of you need to explain how, and the mistakes I made along the way, and some stuff that you can get a better understanding. Now I'm out of here. Enjoy the rest of your day.